Saturday, February 16th, 6 a.m. Mountain Time, 2019. Guys, in case you haven't seen these beautiful, rare photographs circulating the web that were taken by Andrew Cycloneoma from Michigan, an apple orchard in Michigan, what you're looking at is a ice shell of what once was an apple. And when I first saw these photographs that were shared with me by Carl yesterday from Michigan, who himself works at an apple orchard like Andrew. I think Andrew owns this apple orchard. I asked Carl what apples were doing on the trees in the middle of the winter to begin with. Because at first I honestly was a little skeptical, like, okay, how did that happen? Well, I want to look at the science as to what caused this to happen, and it's true. It was instigated initially by the polar vortex that swept down into the upper Midwest during the first week of February, the end of January, bringing exceptionally cold temperatures to the area. In fact, a lot of areas set a lot of records. And in Michigan, it froze the apples that were left on the tree from last year solid. Because that's what I asked Carl. I'm like, what were apples doing on the tree anyway in the middle of winter? He went on to explain to me in great detail that not all of the apples are picked off of the trees in apple orchards, and he too works at an apple orchard, has his whole life, and has never seen anything like this. He said only the best apples are picked for the market. He said after that they open it up to the public to come in and pick apples that are left, and then he said some are just left on the tree, and they may remain on there through winter, and most of them ultimately fall off the tree, and I guess it's actually good for the apple orchard itself. So not all of the apples are picked off of the tree. That's why these apples were on the tree. However, during the polar vortex, it got so cold it froze the apples that were remaining on the tree solid, basically altering the molecular structure of the apple itself. Then along comes an ice storm. And as Andrew explains here at countryliving.com, the apples have a lower freezing point than water. This allowed them to thaw quicker than the ice and leak through a hole in the bottom of the ice structure. And the apple basically turned to applesauce. That's basically what happened. It got so cold that it totally reconfigured the molecular structure of these apples, turning them to applesauce, leaving behind this beautiful shell of an apple made of ice. Unbelievable. So awesome pictures that were shared with me by Carl. Carl also, not only does he work at the apple orchard, he owns this online freight service company, and I told him I would give him a shout out for sharing the pictures with me. So this is his freight service company. If you need any freight services, you can find the link to his company below in the description box. You can also find the link to the original photographs that were taken by Andrew Cycloneoma of Michigan. That is a rare, awesome photograph, and the science behind it was the polar vortex turned the apple basically to applesauce. Speaking of vortexes, we're watching one off the east coast of Australia, where they definitely do not need any more rain. Unfortunately, there is a cyclone that has formed. It's now Cat 1. It's Cycloneoma. We're going to take a closer look at Cycloneoma and where it could potentially go over the next 5 days. And the 5-day forecast is showing this going south and then slightly southeast. This is a forecast model that can and probably will change. Right now, it doesn't look like it's going to affect the Gold Coast of Australia. And like I said, they don't need any more rain. They've been dealing with historic flooding down there, and they're still trying to get back to some sense of normalcy. Last video I put up was about a mega river that formed from the historic flooding. So a cyclone would not be a good thing. Right now you can see it's a very healthy cyclone. It's a Cat 1, expected to become a Category 2 in about 72 hours. That would be 3 days. But the farther south this thing goes, farther straight south it goes, the waters get much, much cooler down here. Cooler waters are definitely not conducive for cyclones or hurricanes, so it will weaken the farther south it goes, and it does look like it's going to stay away from the coast, or at least far enough away to where it's not going to do too much damage, if any at all. If anything, it might help with the bushfires that are down here in this area in the east central part of Australia. So we're keeping a close eye on this vortex. We were just looking at what the polar vortex did to apples in Michigan. Who would have thought that it would have froze apples solid, producing these absolutely stunning pictures, once again taken by Andrew Cycloneoma of Michigan. Thanks for sharing, guys. I greatly appreciate that. And on a final note, I want to take a look at the remnants of the atmospheric river. We're at the Ghost 17, looking at the west view. This is of the Pacific, and this is the atmospheric river, or what's left of it, that brought all of the rain and snow to the western United States. The Sierra Nevada saw measurable snow in the feet range. I got some pictures sent in by Linda from near Lake Tahoe, and you can see they're digging out their truck in a break between epic snowfalls, and the snow is not done yet. This is up above 6,600 feet. This is up in the elevation, so they're no strangers to big snowfalls, but this one here, she said, was quite exceptional. There's another picture here she sent in, and you can see there is quite a bit of snow in this area. She was advising that people stay away from the mountains, and I'm going to read an email that she sent to me yesterday evening. Goes on to say, hello, Michael. She's from the Lake Tahoe area, and the Sierra are shut down. In some areas flooded, epic snow depths, and again, they're used to heavy snowfalls up there, but this one here was quite exceptional. Please announce to the public not to come to the mountains right now. Traffic is at a standstill in blizzard conditions at the time she sent this email. Roads were unplowed. They were doing their best to get the roads cleared, but it's not safe if you can't see to drive, even in a snowplow, to clear the road. So they too have to wait until they can actually see what they're doing. Most of the roads are closed or impassable. More snow coming, and I'm going to show you that on a radar loop. There is actually more snow on the way, coming from a different direction. She said people need to stay home for now, especially above 6,600 feet, where there has been 25 feet of snow in the last week and a half. And that's according to Linda from up near Lake Tahoe. An epic snowstorm like they had never seen before. And they've seen a lot of snow up there. And like I said earlier, it's not done yet. I want to show you another satellite loop here. This is COD Meteorology. And what we're looking at here are more clouds, more moisture coming in from, this time, the northwest. The atmospheric river came in from the south-southwest. The Sierra Nevadas are here, and if you pay real close attention, see the white on the ground? That's snow up in the elevations. This is more precipitation coming to the elevations right now as I do this video. And you can see here the atmospheric river right there, actually at the bottom of this loop. You can see the atmospheric river, what's left of it, moving out of the area. This is another low pressure system that's going to bring more precipitation to the area, but just not quite as much as the atmospheric river did. Brought a lot of flooding. There were a few landslides and rock slides in California. We actually saw some over here in Arizona, in north central Arizona, some heavy flooding. We got probably an inch of rain out here where we're at in the southeast Phoenix area. So that atmospheric river was the real deal. There's another one forming out there right now in the central Pacific as I do this video. However, it's a long ways out. It doesn't look to have near the potency as the last atmospheric river. And if you look down here at the 8 o'clock position on this full disk, you can see Cycloneoma churning towards the Gold Coast of Australia. That pink means strength. Whenever you see pink on this particular instrument, that means height. Height means strength, usually high winds, a lot of moisture. Right now you're looking at light yellows, light greens. That's not very intense. In fact, that's low to moderate. So if it stays like that and if it continues on its same path, not going to be a problem. But if you see it start to turn orange and red like the last atmospheric river was, it's going to bring a lot of moisture, a lot of wind, and a lot of snow. So right now, it doesn't look like it's going to be any type of a problem, but we'll have to keep an eye on that too, like we are Cycloneoma out in off the Gold Coast of Australia. So I think that's in the Coral Sea. Shouldn't be a problem though, guys, but nevertheless, we're going to keep a very close eye on it. Unbelievable phenomenon photographed in Michigan, left behind by the polar vortex. Ice apples. Thanks for watching, guys. Have a super day and be safe out there.